Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for staying with us here on ARC Rochester. It's time for Wealth Wednesday, and this morning we're taking a closer look at what happens after we've done all of the saving and retirement arrives.
Yeah, we're told for years to build up those retirement accounts. But once it starts, the challenge becomes turning those savings into a reliable income that can last. Wealth advisor Jared Felton joins us to explain how to balance that strong retirement plan. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. It's great to see you as well. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
All right.
All right, so let's talk about it. You know, retirement, I feel like it's so far away. But that doesn't mean that we can't start thinking about it right now.
So it's so far away for some.
For some.
For some, depends who's watching today, right? But I think something that people should just kind of think about for a second here is, yes, we've been told, whether people listen or not is a different story, to save, save, save. We have retirement plans through work, max those out. We've even discussed all that. But we get to a point where all of a sudden people are staring down the barrel of 5 years to retirement, 3 years, 4 years, 2 years. And sometimes it's not by design, sometimes it's by default. What if people get laid off? Without having the proper planning, there could be an issue. So how do people make that jump or that shift between saving to all of a sudden having I call it a spending plan? Or how do you maintain the lifestyle that you have created for yourself and for your family that you've become dependent or accustomed to? So number one, I would say, is just making sure that, hey, we have a balanced portfolio. You're talking to someone first and foremost that knows what they're doing. I'm looking at making sure that the person's a fiduciary, making sure that the client's best interest comes first. They're not a commission type of firm, a burning and churning kind of thing. Whoop, hope that's not censored. But making sure that the person's acting in your best interest, right? The other side of this is inside of that portfolio that your investments you're not fear-driven. A lot of people are scared. Right, when it comes to the stock market, is it going to be around? You know, what's going to happen? Is it going to go up, down, and in between? You know, making sure that you have a portfolio that's going to be suitable to the lifestyle that you need, but more importantly, that's going to carry you through retirement. We're living in days and times where people could live longer in retirement than they did when they worked. If you really think about that, people can be retired for 30, 40 years, and maybe they only worked for 20 to 25 or 30. So making sure that balanced portfolio is good, making sure that the investments that you have in there are going to be sustainably over time. Unfortunately, I've come across people that think CDs are investments. They think money markets are investments that are going to carry them through the retirement years. Those are really only meant for short-term periods of time or dollars that are earmarked or allocated for other things. So just making sure that people stay on track. So I think of the two biggest misconceptions, I think that's the biggest one. People are taught to save. They're not taught how to spend and enjoy. How do you do that? So that's probably the first part of it. And any questions? Are you
I do.
Go ahead. I feel like you have something to say. I don't want to keep going
to talk
here.
about the spending and enjoying here. Is there a magic number? I'm 65 years old. I just clocked out of my last shift ever. The paperwork's filed. I am officially retired.
Sure.
Is there a magic number that I can be pulling from my savings on an annual basis without fear of any repercussion or without fear that I'm going to lose it all? Can I be taking 4% out annually?
Sure.
Is there a magic number?
Sure. So the amount of money saved or that you've amassed over your lifetime in investments is only one part of the equation when it comes to retirement planning. Some people have pensions out there that we can dovetail into that monthly number that people need. Social Security, you know, and when to take that is something else. Some people have rental properties, side hustles, they own businesses. There's other income streams that make up whatever that number is, but it's really going to be driven and based on your lifestyle and what it is that you're looking to accomplish. If you're asking me, is there a safe so-called withdrawal rate from investments?
Yes.
That's a totally different story. I'd like to keep people somewhere between 3% and 5% of their overall investable assets. Those are two different questions, in my opinion, because we have to look at all the income streams. We have to first identify how much income that you need, right? Number one, then all the income streams, and then whatever the shortfall is, can we generate that from a safe withdrawal rate that's sustainable to and through your retirement till death.
Whatever
that
it is,
Yeah.
wherever it's fine as long as I get to spend it.
Enjoy it.
Yes.
Right. So, so that's why I think most advisors in the financial industry spend more time talking about saving and not spending. Because
Listen, it makes
money
sense.
compounds over time,
Yeah.
right? The law of 72 says money will double at a 10% interest rate, which is kind of high, but it's just easy numbers, every 7.2 years. Right? So money can grow very quickly the longer that it's invested, and the goal is to just get started. So, making sure that people have a safe plan, safe meaning one that's a little bit more predictable. Nothing is going to be exact, but at least we are being more intentional with how we're approaching retirement as we get to it, and we can see what retirement looks like up until age 100, because nowadays people are living longer too, right? So science and technology are allowing people to live longer. So we just want to make sure that the money will last and it doesn't die before you do.
Very true.
That's also something to consider as well.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
Jarrett, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it. We're out of time. Hit them with the website so people can check out more information.
Sure. My firm is Investment, invessent.com. Come on down and see Lydia and Tommy and I. We're there to help. The door is open. Have a great 2026. Off and running.